Hi, all. Welcome in. Welcome in. This is a video I actually do not want to make. I never thought I would make. I'm struggling right now for words on how to start this video because, again, this just isn't something I thought I'd ever be talking about. I made a community post about a week ago, I think, when I first heard the news about Bioware, specifically Dragon Age the Veilguard, but it goes beyond just that game. And since then, I have been getting opinions from fellow Bioware fans on social media. There is a huge mixed bag of the news, but first let me tell you the news for those of you who are following me who have no idea what I'm talking about because you are not BioWare fans or you don't follow along with this stuff. I think many people are aware that the gaming industry as a whole is struggling. And it's struggling in many ways. Mostly, I feel it's to do with the big greedy corporation people. But it's more than just them. It's just there's a lot of stuff going on. It's basically kind of made this sort of melting pot of different issues throughout the gaming industry. Since the news of BioWare, I've heard about something about Ubisoft and other major gaming companies that are, I don't know, struggling, going through some stuff or whatever. And a lot of it can be attributed to the big bosses that have probably most likely zero gaming experience, but also don't care. They only care about money. Now, many people would say, well, that's their job. Their job is to care about money. I have been working since I was 17 in the 90s. I've been in the workforce on and off for a long time, and I can tell you that this isn't just a gaming industry issue. Okay? No matter what company you work for, especially if it's a chain, the big bosses, they only care about money. The problem with that is that more often than not, the people at the bottom, they get shit on. They get walked on, they get fired for no reason, or there's just any little excuse to be fired for, while the bigger bosses, they escape. They escape any wrath. They skate on by. They get promotions when they don't deserve promotions. This is the thing that has happened in various different companies throughout. So it's, but to talk about gaming, BioWare specifically has been struggling for a very long time. It kind of started at the ending of Mass Effect 3. The ending of Mass Effect 3 basically pissed off a lot of people, and myself included. But my way of dealing with it was I just didn't play the game. I was upset, I was distraught, I was angry, but I just, you know what? I got better things to do with my time. I was in my mid-30s by that point. I had children to take care of, work, school, family. Like, I had other obligations and other things to think about. So, yeah, I found a way to move on. Still love the trilogy, by the way. I still love the trilogy. Mass Effect is my favorite video game franchise of all time. And that's partly why I'm kind of making this video, because I am a fan of BioWare. So the news that came about Dragon Age the Veilguard not only was the disappointing sales, which typically I don't even pay attention to that bullshit, because corporations, like I said, they always want more money. So typically this isn't something that I normally follow or even really care about, because I just don't care. As a gamer, as a person who buys these games and plays these games, I care about what I like. I care about what makes me happy. I don't necessarily pay all that much attention to what's going on with some greedy, money-hungry executive out there somewhere who I well, don't know and don't care to know. However, in this particular situation, and it's getting this way throughout the gaming industry. When a game fails, it seems, the natural instinct of these higher-ups is to fire all of the lower people. And that is what happened. Veilguard did not meet their expectations. And therefore, pretty much all of the devs were either fired or permanently placed somewhere else. I don't know how many exactly, I don't have an exact number, but there were several, at least, devs on the Dragon Age game that were veterans that had been with BioWare for a very long time. By the way, BioWare also just recently celebrated their 30th anniversary, which was very bittersweet. Like, nobody really did anything. Nobody really celebrated anything because we had gotten the news about Veilguard right before that happened. So a lot of fans in particular were just like, I don't care. And I gotta say, I'm in that same boat. Like, I didn't really care. It made me sad that I didn't care. That I didn't care about a company that I had loved since Mass Effect 1. But the firing of so many devs, and it wasn't even just the firing, it was the BioWare blog post that actually just put a really bad taste in my mouth, and many other people. It was how it was handled. The general manager, in my opinion, I'm not a fan. I've been suspicious of him ever since he took over. So he basically worded it almost verbatim, not completely, but almost verbatim to the August 2023 blog post, saying things like, and I'm paraphrasing, we are working to become a more focused and agile company. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, what is this? What is this? And also, today's news, and I can't remember all the rest of it, but today's news, and then failed to talk about the news. Well, what was the news? Well, it wasn't until I hopped over onto Blue Sky and saw so many of my fellow Dragon Age fans and BioWare fans in general talking about it. And then I saw Trick Weeks say they had been laid off, and a few others as well. So we find out, through social media from the devs themselves that they were being laid off or they were being transferred to another company within EA. And that was very bittersweet because now pretty much everyone that ever worked on Dragon Age is gone. Now, there are a few veterans left to work on the next Mass Effect game, and this is where I'm going to lead into my thoughts and concerns, I guess you could say. I have not finished the Veilguard, and I will not talk about the Veilguard until I have finished the game. If you are interested in watching my Let's Play, it is up here on YouTube. Feel free to watch it. The next Mass Effect game, I was very excited for. I was looking forward to it. I have a reaction up on my YouTube as well. I think it's part of my channel trailer now, that I just was so super excited. And then I think it was last year or the year before, I can't really remember, they had posted a semi sort of type of trailer showing some stuff. And the fans just went wild with their theories and, who could that be? Could it be a Shepard? Could it be a Shepard clone? Could it, there's all sorts of theories out there right now. And then knowing that Liara was coming back, we're very excited. But the downside is that now we know that specifically Liara's writers are gone. So that's sad and concerning. The reason I think that most fans are concerned when a writer is not the same writer for a character that they love is because how do we know that the new writer is going to give that character the same love and affection? So it is concerning. I will not lie to you and tell you that I'm not worried, because I am worried. I am absolutely worried about the next Mass Effect game. There are a lot of people who have already stated they will not buy the next Mass Effect game no matter what, because they're boycotting BioWare or because they're boycotting EA. Completely understandable. I absolutely understand where they're coming from. I do not judge them. My choice, however, is going to be to wait and see. I really am feeling like, in general, I am in this... I feel like I'm sitting in a movie theater and I'm watching this movie and I have a small bowl of popcorn, but I'm barely touching it because every scene that pops up on the screen is just putting me in this state of not shock, but something similar that I can't really put to words right now. And this is, like I said, this is a general thing about life right now. And every scene is unpredictable. Every scene is like, what just happened? Right? And yet I'm glued to that chair, still holding on to my popcorn that I haven't touched, watching that screen, waiting and anticipating the next scene, not in eagerness, but in trepidation. That's where I feel like I'm at. That's where I feel like I am. And I think that the next Mass Effect game is... I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know. I can't tell the future. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I do hope that it is an amazing game. I hope that the story is amazing. There have been some speculations from many fans that either BioWare or EA or both simply just do not like writers and storytelling. And that actually also is kind of reiterated from a recent statement that the CEO of EA made, which some people are saying was misinterpreted, and other people are saying no, he said what he meant what he said, and it was about his regret on Veilguard and how they should have left it a live service game or something. And something about storytelling. I can't remember the exact wording, but basically they don't think that gamers want good storytelling, which, if that's true, and that's what the person said, or that's how the person meant it, that is completely, utterly asinine and completely out of touch with the gaming community. Yes, there are gamers out there that play different games for mindless fun. Sure. That there's a market for that. Of course there is. But a lot of gamers want a great story in their games. So to downplay writing in gaming is just the dumbest thing that I could even think of. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. So that makes me concerned for the next Mass Effect game because I don't know who the writers are. There are several vets that are working on the Mass Effect game, but I don't know if any of them are writers. I don't know who the writers are. I'll leave that up to somebody else who can deep dive and look into that stuff. And then they can tell me. Or I'll watch their videos and then I'll learn. That's usually how it works. But anyway, I have a very, very cautious, realistic expectation of the next game that, honestly, I don't think it's going to matter whether the game is successful or not according to EA standards. I want to believe in the devs. I don't believe in the people over them. And it's sad to see that so many OG BioWare devs are not there anymore. And even if they were, it sounds like Dragon Age has been put on ice. And from what people have said, EA does not sell their IPs. They hold on to them, even the ones that are long dead. So if we ever were to get another Dragon Age game, which I highly doubt we will, it won't be the same. Because it will not have any of the original people working on it. Now, there are people who are like, well, maybe it just needs a new lease on life, right? And it needs new, fresh perspectives. Well, part of the reason that Dragon Age did so poorly is because people were complaining that not enough of the OG people were working on the game. Were working on the story and investing in the characters. So that's a catch-22. You can't say the franchise needs a new, fresh perspective, but then at the same time say, well, the last game failed because there were too many people, you know, not understanding, that didn't understand the core of the franchise. Mostly people referring to Dragon Age Origins. Now, we could have a debate on that all day long, but that's not the point that I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is that gamers are very finicky. We are. We really are. Okay? What one gamer really, really likes in a game, the next gamer's not gonna like. They're gonna want something else. I feel sad about Dragon Age, but I do have my memories of Dragon Age. I do have all of the games, and I plan to make a future video. I don't know when, but probably I'm going to wait until after I finish the Veilguard. And I will make a video talking about my Dragon Age memories and make a little tribute to the franchise. It is my second favorite franchise, Mass Effect being the first. I will probably also make a Mass Effect video in the future as well, talking about the games and what the games, particularly the trilogy, meant to me. So, yeah. But those are in the future, and I don't know when. So, that is that. As far as BioWare, I just don't have a whole lot of faith that BioWare is going to last beyond the next Mass Effect game. And the reason that I say that is because of EA. I just feel there have been the writing on the wall. There have been a lot of red flags with the development of Dragon Age the Veilguard. There were a lot of red flags with how EA just did not support the devs. They're the ones that created the first trailer that not everybody, but most people seem to really dislike. And BioWare was the one that got the shit for it. And EA took backseat because that's who EA is. EA doesn't take any responsibility for anything. They pass the buck downwards when it's supposed to go upwards. So those red flags were there throughout the entire thing. Yeah, so that is why I feel that BioWare is living on borrowed time, if that makes any sense. I really, really hope for the best for the next Mass Effect game. I will be watching very closely the development. I will be watching very closely, well, from what they tell us anyway, every tidbit that they show of the next game and whatnot, and I will buy the next game. I will, because it's part of my favorite franchise, and I just will. I will at least give it a shot and decide for myself. But in the meantime, I will be keeping close tabs on it. But I am expecting that regardless of the success of that game, BioWare is probably going to be done. There are other things that the general manager of BioWare specifically, I guess, stated about evolving as a studio, and it's just wording that makes me very suspicious. It makes me think that either BioWare is going to be completely done, or by the time the next Mass Effect game comes around, Mass Effect is not even going to resemble the studio that it was. Many people would argue that it hasn't resembled the studio for a long time. I disagree, but I also think that it's showing signs of it slowly being eaten away and becoming something that we're not even going to recognize. And that's if the game studio survives. Many people don't think that we're going to see a Mass Effect 5. That's a possibility. That is a very real possibility at this point in time. But I don't know the future. I can't tell you one way or the other. I can only speculate. And that's not really that great. So I am definitely more of a realist. Maybe some people would accuse me of being very cynical. But it's just being in touch with the reality of the situation and recognizing that this is a very real possibility. that A, the next Mass Effect game might not even happen, or B, the studio will shut down. And C, if the studio doesn't shut down, it will become a completely different type of studio. We don't know. But what I will tell you is that I'm still processing a lot of the information. I'm still taking in new information every single day, and I am sad. It's a very bitter, I don't even know if I want to say bittersweet. It's just very sad that we've gotten here. But all good things eventually come to an end. So the best thing that I can say is I guess I'm just trying to figure out I need to move forward, and how do I move forward? But also, how do I hold on to the two franchises that I love so much? And that is through my memories. That is through replaying the games and continuing to replay the games for as long as my PC lets me. I guess, what are your thoughts as far as the BioWare situation, but maybe even just what your thoughts are on the gaming industry as a whole, the higher ups? You know, what are you guys thinking about? And for the Dragon Age fans and the Mass Effect fans, BioWare fans, what are you guys feeling? What are you thinking? I know that there are a lot of mixed thoughts and opinions about what's going to happen to BioWare. But these are my thoughts. That's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing me out. And I hope that you guys enjoyed some of the clips that I made, showing some of my Dragon Age and Mass Effect characters. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.